What's up? It's me, Haley Jones, and I am here with the one and only Beth Duncan. We are at Farragut High School, and she is the Parent and Community Involvement Coordinator for Farragut High School, and kind of like you bring the Farragut thread together. Is that right?
Yes, we try to.
Yeah.
We really try to work together. Yes,
No, you are doing it. You are doing it. So
you're awesome.
We are highlighting an event that's coming up in April. It's called Shared Visions and Empty Bowls. Do a little rapid fire. Chocolate or vanilla?
Chocolate.
We have a recurring theme. Most recently, for a while, we had all vanilla.
Yeah.
And I was like, why? And they're like, it goes with everything. And I was like, what about chocolate?
I think chocolate kind of does too.
I do too.
I think anything tastes better in chocolate.
I know.
Yeah.
Okay, mountains or beach?
Beach.
What's your favorite beach?
We love Treasure Island.
Where's
in
that?
Florida. So it's off of Tampa,
Okay.
St. Pete.
You
right
fly,
off
so
of
you
St.
fly like.
I'd love to tell you we do, but no, it's a 10-hour drive. So yeah, it's a little bit of a drive.
What? But you must love it. There's no way. I'm not driving no damn 10 hours.
Next week's spring break, and we're actually going to Wild Dunes, and I love Wild Dunes.
Where's that?
It's off of Charleston.
Oh, I do
Isle
love
of Palms.
Charleston.
Isle of Palms.
IOP.
That's where we're headed.
IOP. Okay, West Knox or South Knox?
Oh, West Knox.
Like 100%. No
100%.
questions.
100%.
If you are going, like, what's your top meal in Knoxville? Like, you could have this anytime. Or top three.
Top meal in
Or thing that comes to your mind.
I love Lakeside Tavern.
Yes.
So I love Lakeside Tavern. I love a good salad. The bread is very good. Yes. I love a good salad there. They have a salmon salad that's really good.
Yes,
they have all their salads. Even they have a steak one too.
Yeah. They still have, don't they still have like an Asian, it's like it's got poppy seeds and stuff in it. It's really good.
I'm trying to think about that one.
Anyways, it's good.
Top, just because of growing up here.
Yeah.
Aubrey's.
Love Aubrey's. Aubrey's
just
is a good go-to.
because you can feed the whole fam.
Yes.
But the problem is we used to have one here, and now, and they're building one in Lower City, which will be nice. They used to have one
by the Starbucks, where all that is now. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So Cedar Bluff's our closest one. So we laugh as a staff when we do something and order out.
Yeah.
Like that's part of the rotation because it's such a treat to get from Aubrey's.
Yeah. And it's always consistent. It's consistently good, I think. Yeah.
And beyond that, I mean, my husband, we don't eat that much, so that's, stage of life. Sorry.
Yeah. Wait, what about desserts? Like if you're going for dessert, what do you go for?
So I laughed the other day. I went with my kids for dessert at, Gondolier. Oh. Have you ever had desserts at the Gondolier?
No.
Oh my gosh.
Really?
They have so many choices.
Really?
Yes, from cheesecakes to, they have some who bakes for them. So yes, everybody went and got a different dessert. Yes, love cakes dessert. And all. So yeah, love the Gondolier for dessert.
Love the Gondolier. Mm-hmm. Okay, and then so how long have you been like involved with the Farragut community?
I've been involved as a parent for probably over 10 years.
Yeah.
I've been involved working at Farragut High School. Yeah. This is my 3rd year.
Okay. Do you feel like, okay, so I'm from Knoxville, I'm from West Knoxville, went to West High, didn't go to Farragut, okay, just so we're clear, my sister went to Beerland, whatever.
I didn't go to Farragut.
Where did you go?
I went to the Webb School.
Oh, that's right, you said that. My mom went to Webb, by the way, for middle school. But anyways, I feel that Farragut itself has exploded. Because like back in the day there was no Turkey Creek, and now Turkey Creek's been here a while. There was no Costco, and now you've got Biddle Farms. So like what's your take on like, I feel like Farragut has exploded. Agree, disagree? Like what's your...
Agree. And we're kind of busting at the seams. We're bracing ourselves here at the high school.
Yeah.
I live out at the end of North Shore off of Harvey Road.
Yeah.
And currently they're clearing land for 3 new subdivisions out there that will all go to Farragut schools. They'll go to North Shore for elementary, and then Farragut Middle, Farragut High. Right. There's a lot of development. My husband's a home builder, so I have to be very careful about this.
What? Yes, no, I get
because
it.
that help feeds the family. But so we live out. I grew up off of Harvey Road. Okay, and it has changed so much. I mean, in it's been 35 years. I do love the Farragut community. I have friends. I used to work in the Bearden community. We were talking about this. And I would kid about Turkey Creek, and my friends there would inform me that was out of their Rocky Hill bubble. And I
Which is a bubble.
I realize now that we kind of have a Farragut bubble. Like
Yes.
there's a certain amount of like the thought of going towards the mall is like out of the bubble.
Yeah.
Now we
sure.
do it in all those things,
Right.
but there's just a lot. And now that we have Biddle Farms, I mean,
you don't
even
really
more.
have to go.
Bradley's Chocolates is coming to us, and Parlor Donuts.
Yes.
And so there's so many great things just even opening right here.
For sure.
Big
Well, Harvey
parks.
Road and Chodo and all that. I mean, that's, anyways.
It's out of control.
Yeah, it is. In a good way, I guess.
It is. You're a realtor.
Well,
Manager's wife,
I will say, just for context, if you're like Harvey Road, whatever, so that's pretty much as far west as you can get before you get to Loudoun County. So the fact that, there's so much new construction going on there tells you, like, there is really nowhere else at this point. Like, and I'm sure people are going to continue to find pockets of land, but there's not going to be these, 1,000 home subdivisions or whatever, because they're just, people are running out of land. But anyways, just lots of growth for sure. Okay, let's take a hard right turn and talk about the event coming up in April. It's April 3rd. But just for context, if you're watching this after April 3rd, 2025, this is an event that has been going on. How long has this event gone on?
The Shared Visions event, which is the actual art show.
Okay.
It just started last year.
Okay.
And so the premise for the Shared Visions art show is that there are 9 art teachers. So we have 3 at the high school, and then each school, Farragut Primary, Farragut Middle, and Farragut Intermediate.
Yeah.
And each one of those art teachers picks 40 pieces of art.
Yeah.
And they bring it over here to the high school, and they set it up in the commons.
Yeah.
And then it is judged, and they pick first, second, and third place winner from each school and honorable mention, and they are awarded that evening. So last year was the first year we did that, and it was really amazing. We had classes come up. The jazz band class came and played music. We had just all kinds of parents coming in and out, and then with it we had Empty Bowls. Empty Bowls was started right at 25 years ago.
Wow, okay.
And Empty Bowls has been where the art department, mainly Wendy Love's ceramics class, would make bowls.
Yeah.
And then they would serve soup.
Yeah.
And you would get a bowl of soup, and you would buy a ticket for a bowl of soup and basically a piece of bread, and it was kind of to remind you of people who benefited from like fish pantry. And for years, they hosted that at Einstein Bagel Company. They donated everything. And the students, basically, when you went to the event, you were given a bowl that a student had made. It's been fired, glazed. And then the money raised would go to the fish pantry. Last year, because of Shared Visions, they decided, let's take that same thing and bring it over to the high school. So we brought it here to the high school, and instead of Einstein, we have been using the soup kitchen, and sponsors like yourself, thank you, Haley Jones,
of course,
who's sponsoring it. We're able to then pay for all of the soup, and so all the money that's made off of the tickets, which is $15 a ticket, goes to the fish pantry. And then people can make donations. But the unique thing this last year that started was that also art students from the primary, middle, and elementary schools are making the bowls.
Yes.
So it wasn't just high schoolers.
Right.
So now you had bowls from all the different schools, and then they fire them here, and then they have them. And so when you come to the event, you pick out your bowl, but then you actually eat out of a little styrofoam bowl, and you have your choice between 4 different soups. This year, I think we're doing potato leek, chicken and rice, broccoli cheddar, and chili. And then you have the choice between a jalapeno cornbread or cheese bread. And
both are great choices. I'm
yes, I will say they're delicious.
I would like some of that now.
They're delicious. We have students who serve. We have students who clean up. Last year we had flowers on the tables. This year students have made cute paper flowers.
Oh, that's cool.
Which are really cool because of the whole art.
Right.
So we're going to have these paper flowers as part of the decorations. And so the actual Empty Bowls runs 4:30. There's a seating of people 5 o'clock and 5:30. And the actual art exhibit runs 5:30 till 7:30. And then there's awards at 6:30. Cool. So it's kind of the overlap, but it was just last year when we did it, it was just an amazing event, and so many people were so giving that we were able to give close to $4,000 to the fish pantry, which was really awesome.
Yeah, that's amazing.
So
what I think is so cool when I came last year was that it truly is kindergarten through 12th grade. Like there were kindergartners there. There were 12th graders there. There were kindergarten parents there. There were 12th grade parents. And that, I think, is rare to find.
Yes.
Which I think is so cool about, like, kind of the Farragut community in general. But just that event that's honoring art. Because I think a lot of times we get so bogged down in, like, testing or, you know, the core subjects that we forget, like, art does exist. And I think it's cool that this is an event that honors student creativity.
Oh, yes. And what's really cool is last year also the music departments from all 4 schools came together and they did a program called Farragut Sings, and they did it at Christmas. And they turned around and did it again this year, and so they featured different choirs from each school, and First Baptist Concord hosted.
Very cool.
People could go, and once again you had kindergarten parents sitting there with senior parents, and they were all for the same thing, and it really focused on the arts. And so our schools have done a really good job of coming together, especially in the arts, to just say, hey, we're one big community. Our community does a really great job of, we have a state championship baseball team. People show up to watch that. We have basketball, and you know, people show up for sports and all, but it's really awesome to see them showing up for the arts also.
Yeah, no, for sure. I get a lot of questions of people always asking, like, my opinions of schools or whatever. And I used to be a teacher. I still have my teaching license, all that stuff. When I think you can easily go to niche.com and look at, like, our school rating. But I think events like this are important to come to if you're thinking, like, is the Farragut community a fit? And whether it's Farragut or some other upline of schools, this is a nice event for you to come and just see the community without it being academic focused.
No, I completely agree.
So I just want to encourage you, if you're thinking, is Farragut a fit? Or maybe you have a little that you're not sure, you know, where you want them to be or whatever. I definitely come to this event because you're going to just get an idea of the community. How many bowls are made?
They made, I feel like they made 350, 400 last year. I mean, it was quite a bit. Yes, it's quite a few.
You need a lot of bowls
for that.
It's quite a few.
Yeah. I will say that the nice thing is so the high school department, they fire those bowls and they get them glazed and all. It's really, and there was some, it was funny last year. I remember people debating, standing there trying to pick which one they wanted, and then they had a hard time, so they came back and they were like, I'm going to make another donation because I'd like that one also.
Oh,
so yeah, it was really cool.
The donations go to Fish Food Pantry, which is a local pantry here.
Yes, it is.
Do we know? I don't know actually a ton about, like, how many people Fish serves.
I have no idea. We have some local pantries, but Fish is the one that, and it's for Knoxville, and they partnered. The art department has partnered with them for, like, the past 25 years, so they kind of kept it with them. Yeah, and if you Google, like, empty bowls in general, this is a movement, grassroots movement that is it national? I mean, I feel like it is a national kind of thing, so you can go and see that. Are there, last year's art, in terms of, like, what, like, I was looking back at pictures that I've taken, and the art, it, like, runs the gamut of stuff. So what, like, is it all ages art? Like, what kind of... So you're going to see art from all ages. So each teacher is allowed to bring 40 pieces. I mean, you will see photography. Yeah. You could see ceramics.
Yes.
Sculpture.
Yeah.
I mean, I laugh and say it's kind of like going to the KMA.
Yes,
for Farragut.
It is.
I mean, it's kind of the Farragut's version of their own little KMA event.
Some of it's
and they've
amazing.
Really got some really cool display boards that they were able to hang all this stuff. So you walk around and it's like being in a real art exhibit.
Art last year called Fresh Meat. Okay. And it was like a vase, like smushed. Like when you buy ground beef or something. And it was like in one of those styrofoam trays. And it was a face like smushed in the tray. And there was like lipstick coming off of it and like eyelashes. And I was like, I mean, this is the creativity of the whole thing. I was like, I'm gonna meet this kid.
There
is some just amazing stuff.
Yes.
So April 3rd, $15 a ticket. The proceeds go to, well, actually, I guess all the money goes to
Fish Pantry. And the art show itself is free.
Yeah.
So
you can just show up.
The empty bowls itself is $15.
Yeah, and that gets you a student-made bowl and soup. So when it comes,
and there is a QR code that if you'll share at the end, just because that helps us for sign up. Yes.
But well, actually, this is the actual flyer. If you're watching, if you're listening, click on the link. But yeah, so you can go there, find out about the event, see the time, and then also donate. Like if you don't, even if maybe you can't make it, you want to donate, then certainly do that for sure.
That'd be great.
Okay, so what do you think, just talking about the Farragut community in general, what kind of sets Farragut apart? Like when people are thinking, maybe Farragut, maybe Hardin Valley, maybe Bearden, like what's different about Farragut than like some of the other? Farragut's got Costco, that's what I say.
What's different?
That's what I say.
I taught at Cedar Bluff.
Yeah.
I work in the Bearden community. I just think each community has its own kind of thing. I don't know what I would say is
and I don't think you can necessarily, I think that, tell me if you're like, Haley, I don't want to talk about this, but as someone that taught in Knox County and I've taught, various places, I don't necessarily think you can go wrong when it comes to public school. I know that public school gets a lot of heat and we've got a lot of stuff going on politically, whatever, but I don't think that you can necessarily go wrong. I think that each community has its own kind of vibe, and I don't think one is necessarily better than the other. I do think that, Farragut's cool because where you guys are positioned within the community, a lot of people, you have access. It's a lot more walkable than a lot of the other schools are, and you guys are so tight-knit in terms of like, you do things like this from a K-12 perspective.
There are other schools that are like this, possibly Hardin Valley, I think, but our middle school sits at the bottom of the hill from the high school. We have students who are at a point in academics that they can take high school classes. Yeah. And the beauty of it is they just kind of walk up the hill and they come to class. Also, the nice thing is that the intermediate sits right beside that. So really, honestly, there's 3 of the 4 schools right here. Now, that presents its own little problems too. Anybody would tell you that traffic. But yeah, where in West Knoxville do we not have traffic right now? I just think people need to practice patience. But I do think that we are a great school in the sense that I do think that we deeply desire that kids be known. We like to push them academically. Dr. Bartlett would say that we push them academically, but we also like to foster the whole child. So with things like the arts are just as important as sports and academics. So the high school, we have a very good musical theater program, and they put that on in the fall, and there's lots of opportunities within the arts at all levels of the schools. So
and even just at the high school, how many clubs did you say that there are?
We have over 50 clubs. I tell students all the time that the best way to make a very large school, because we do need to be honest, we are 2,100 students. We're a large school.
Yes.
But any way to make a large school seem smaller is to get involved with something, to find something you like. So, we have a crochet club, then we have mock trial, then we have DECA, which is a business club, but then we have a anthropology club. Then we have, I'm trying to think, a young bakers club. So there are just varied opportunities for students. We have tutoring after school for students that are struggling in academics, where other students are helping students and teachers as well. So we have a lot of opportunities that sometimes that if you're at a smaller school, you don't have as much because there's a lot more. We have a larger staff too, so you can spread that out amongst people.
When you say like students be known, she's saying like no one falls through the cracks kind of thing, right?
That is our goal. That is our goal. Especially with 2,100 students, how does one do that? The academy model that we're working within right now, that is the goal with that academy model, that students are in an academy and those academy teachers are meeting with their vice principal that's in charge of their academy, as well as their counselors, and they're having discussions. And really that puts us down to where we used to have counselors at the high school and they were divided by actual grades. And so you had 510 students. Now that's cut down to hopefully between 350, 400, somewhere in there. Within that, then out of that 400, you may only have 100 seniors. Right. And so it goes backwards. Yeah. So that an effort to really help with knowing students too.
Right. Yeah. They're people, not just. I think sometimes public school gets a bad rap for like, these are just little.
Yes.
You're just going, it's like a little factory. Yes. But actually, I think schools are working hard, to your point, with your academy model for kids to be an individual student and also taking into consideration that, yes, there are 2,100 students here. So, yes, we do need systems. We do need processes. We do need procedures. But at the same time, we are able to see each kid.
The academy model is also helping us, too, whereas I think that we, for a long time, were maybe a very college prep high school, which we still are. Yeah. But we have a lot more student now going into the different industries to work within those. And students are seeing those opportunities, or going to Pell City State and going to welding school and doing that kind of stuff. So this is kind of to help. We have at Farragut High School, where a lot of people don't realize, but we have an agriculture class, we have a vet tech class, we have instruction, we have a nursing. So there are all these different things that are helping students to really kind of focus in on what they would possibly like to do in their next step in life.
Yeah. So as the community involvement person, how can people, if people want to support Farragut, get involved, like what are some of the big needs that people should know about, that if people want to help, like what are things that Farragut needs? How can the community be involved in different ways?
Well, we were just discussing earlier before we went on. One of the things at Farragut High School, we're getting ready to graduate, 500 and some seniors, and Knox County Schools has been in, since COVID, really a 1-to-1, where the students have been issued a computer, which has been such a blessing to even families like myself that we didn't have to buy. But now that my son is getting ready to graduate and he's going to go to college, that's an expense we're going to have. There are many families that's a very large expense, and just going to college alone. And so we have a scholarship that we ran last year with a very large sponsor that helped us to sponsor 5 students. We had 32 applicants, and 5 students were awarded computers. So that's $5,000. So right now that's a big need, because I'd like to do that again this year. I'd love, somebody said, what would be your dream? And I said, I'd love for that to grow, like every year, like 7,000, and the next year 10,000. We have a foundation that's working right now, and they just did a fundraising event. They did a gala, and they raised about $17,000, but they're turning around.
That's a lot. That's good.
They did a very nice
Everybody
job.
loves a gala these days.
They do. They did that, and then they are getting ready to have a golf tournament, but they're really trying to help. Dr. Bartlett, our principal, has seen that the foundation has helped over the years in many different ways. They help sponsor our tutoring program, and they pay for the teachers that are there. They've helped with some awards and scholarships, but they've also helped with a lot of classroom supplies that we like to say that are big dollar. Yeah. They've helped with a lot of stuff out in the vet program, and we have a photography class now. They help to pay for those cameras. But the big need this year is we have some flat tops, or as you'd like to call them, condos or portable classrooms that I would like to tell you are going away, but with the growth in our community, we just do not foresee them going away.
What growth?
So basically, Dr. Bartlett has seen that in those rooms, when you put a traditional desk, it is really hard for a teacher to be in that small room with traditional desks. And so he has found these desks that are with a chair that can be moved around and
Yeah.
and they can form different shapes. And
Right.
You can go
Make it
together
more
or apart.
flexible, more.
But it's pricey. And so
Yeah.
right now the foundation is trying to raise money for that
Mm-hmm.
because they'd like to. One classroom's already been redone, but he has the potential, I think, for 7 classrooms.
Wow.
So we're trying to
Where
raise
are
money
the
towards
portables?
that. They're in the back of the school, off to the right. So they sit right behind the school.
Okay.
So and they're right beside the building. So they're kind of tucked in there. Actually, most people wouldn't see them.
I know the campus pretty well.
So-
I'm like, where is this? Yeah.
So that's a need. Of course, I'm sure if you are a business in Knoxville, you've been hit up by one of our many sporting teams or a band or even some of our clubs. The nice thing with our clubs is that the town of Farragut does grant some money to our students to be used for clubs. So that's helped with deferring some of the costs with some of the stuff for clubs. But for a student, for example, that qualified for DECA and they went on that trip and it was $200 and something. And then if they've qualified to go now to, I believe this year they're going to Orlando. I mean, that's a pricey trip. So they all are probably trying to fundraise and do various things for that. So those are kind of the big needs. We have our PTSO is very involved and they like to offer a lunch for the staff once a month. And so if a business would like to sponsor that, they say that, they can feed a staff of 160 on average between $500 and $1,000 depending on what they're doing. And so that's a need. And then there's just little things here and there. I mean, you and I were discussing this, that a school of this size is just kind of a small piece of kind of what society is. So we have needs within things all the time. So
Cool. So if people want to get involved, what should they do? Where should they go? Who should they reach out to?
If you want to get involved,
which you do,
you would like to get involved, I would love for you to email me.
Yeah.
My name is Beth Duncan, and it is not spelled like you dunk a donut in the coffee. It is spelled. So my email is Beth.Duncan, DUNCAN @KnoxSchools, and that's plural.org.
And we'll put it in the information as well.
And that's really, or you could call the high school at 865-966-9775.
And we all know what Google is.
Yes.
Farragut High School.
If you call Farragut High School and you could just ask for me and I can put you in touch with. So that's another thing that we didn't hit on, is another aspect of my job is that I help students find opportunities to do community service. So let's say you're out in the community and you possibly run a nonprofit and you need some students, or you run an event and you would like some students to come and serve and to help at that event. I was just contacted by North Shore Elementary, getting ready to do a STEM night. Farragut Intermediate's getting ready to do what they call Family Fun Night. I just got in contact with a company that builds beds for people in need. So I have students all the time who would like to come and offer their services to earn some service hours. And I love doing that. I think that's a great opportunity for our students. And so if you have something and you think this would be great, just reach out to me too, because we would love to send some students your way.
Awesome. Okay, anything we haven't touched on that you're like, we gotta talk about this?
No, I think we've covered it all.
Well, you're amazing.
You're
Thank
too
you
sweet.
No, seriously, like, you're important. Because a lot of times, like, this is all stuff that it's like so good for the community. It's so good for students. Sometimes falls through the cracks because it's not a must, or it's not, it doesn't show up on standardized testing or on those metrics. But it's making the school culture amazing and keeping students plugged in. And so anytime you're in that kind of support role, I think sometimes it goes without saying, but you are doing awesome. So,
well, and if you're watching this and you have a student at Farragut High School and you say, my student is not plugged in, email me. I will help with that. I just had 20 students eating lunch in my office. So we will try. They were playing spoons too. It was a little crazy, but I would love to help you with that too. So in any way that I can be of help, we would love to make this place that on paper can seem very large. But when you come here, we hope it isn't.
Love that. Awesome. So, thank you so much, Beth.
You're very welcome.
You are amazing.
Thank you.
Yes, we'll see you guys next time. Bye.